today we will start the voice change, active voice and passive voice. Okay, just wait. Come to page number, take out your English grammar book, page number 77. Come to page number 77 of your English grammar book. Active and passive voice. Voice is that form of the verb which indicates whether the subject is the doer of the action or something is being done to it. So the voice, it just makes it clear whether the subject is the performer of the deed, that means the subject, whether it is doing the work, it is the doer, or whether anything is done on the subject or upon it. That means in the active voice we can find that the subject is doing the work, the subject is the performer or doer. And in the passive voice we will come to know that actually the action is taking upon, or the whole thing is done upon, or something is done upon the passive voice. Everything is done upon the subject, and it is known as the passive voice. So just let us read from the book. A quick recap. The subject in a sentence is the doer of an action in many cases. Verbs in a sentence which require a direct object to complete their meaning are called transitive verbs. Why we require to know these two definitions once more? Because in this chapter, when we will proceed, at the time we will find that it is written that active voice and passive voice is very important. And in active voice we can find that the subject is the performer of the work, and in the passive voice we will come to know that something is done upon the subject. And in the voice change we will find that the presence of the transitive verb is must. Let's read. Now look at the picture given here and read the sentences carefully. Namita sang a song. Namita is the subject, sang is the verb, a song is the object. So who sang the song, or who sang a song? Namita. Namita is the subject. Now the verb sang is transitive verb here because it is having an object, a song. Britney Spears sang a song, same thing. Britney Spears subject, sang is the verb, a song is the object. Here we can clearly see that Namita and Britney Spears are the subjects in the above sentences, and each one is the doer of the action. That means they are performing the action, they are singing. Namita has sung, or Namita is singing, that means Namita is doing the work. And again here we can find Britney Spears, she is doing the work, she is the performer, she is the doer of the action or doer of the work. Okay, next, verb is sang in each of the examples, whereas a song is the object in each sentence. Therefore the verb sang is transitive. That's why we need to once more recapitulate the definition of transitive verb. Okay, when the subject of a sentence does an action, we say that the sentence is in the active voice. So when the subject is doing the work, the subject is performing something, the subject is acting at that time, it is said that the sentence is in active voice. Let us rewrite the sentence given above. A song was sung by Britney Spears. Here the subject is a song, and Britney Spears, she is becoming the object here. So here the subject is not doing the work, rather something has been done upon the subject. Somebody else is taking some sort of action on the subject. Here a song is the subject and it is not the doer of the action. So this sentence is in passive voice. Here the action rather than the doer is emphasized. So here not the doer is important, rather the action is important. When the subject is not the doer of an action, but something is done to it, the sentence is said to be in the passive voice. Note, only sentences, underline this one, only sentences with transitive verbs, verbs with an object, can be changed into passive voice. That's why it is very important that we must know once more the definition of transitive verb. Now exercise number A, read the following sentences and tick the correct options to state whether they are in the active or passive voice. This is your homework. You will complete this one, and in one of our offline videos we will discuss all these answers. Now come to use of passive voice. The active voice is generally used while conveying an idea or thought, but sometimes the use of passive voice is required. So where we require, or what is the requirement of passive voice? Now we will come to know about that. Passive voice is used if the doer of an action is not known. When somebody has done the work but we don't know who has done, at that time passive voice can be used. Like for example, it is given, mother's purse was stolen. Now who has stolen the purse? It is not known, it is unknown, but somebody has stolen. That's why here the requirement of passive voice is there. We need to inform that mother's purse is stolen. Now it must be stated, or it must be said in that correct form. That's why it is said mother's purse was stolen. So here the sentence is complete and no problem is there in understanding, but one thing is there, that we will not come to know that who has done the work, and that's why the passive voice has been used. Next, if the stress is more on action rather than the doer of the action, when we don't want to emphasize on the person who has done the work, rather the work, we want to emphasize on the work, at that time we need to use the passive voice. A cucumber was chopped. So here the chopping of cucumber is more important rather than this cucumber, the real thing or the real subject. The chopping of cucumber is more important than who chopped it. Sorry. So the chopping of cucumber is more important rather than who has chopped it. If the emphasis is on the thing or the person who receives the action, like for example, the letter was delivered, the letter is given here the importance, not the person who has delivered. So here also we need to use the passive voice. Now features, while changing a sentence from the active to passive voice, the following points have to be remembered. The object of the verb in the active voice becomes a subject in the passive voice. A very good example has been given over here. You can see, Naman kicked the ball. So Naman is the subject, kicked is the transitive verb, the ball is the object. It is in the active voice because here Naman, that means the subject is the performer or the doer of the action. Now in the next sentence we can find that the ball was kicked by Naman. Here the ball is the subject, and here it is not doing the work, rather it is stating that some work has been done on it. That means it has been kicked. Kicked by whom? Naman. So in the above examples, Naman was the subject in sentence A, which is in active voice. He is the doer of the action. In sentence B, the ball is the subject, but it is not the doer of the action. The subject of the active voice is expressed as by plus agent in passive voice. In the above example, Naman was the subject in active voice, but in the passive voice he is the agent. So we write by Naman in the passive voice. The form of the verb is changed according to the tense. This is the most important part of active voice, that how the verb is changed. Kanak writes a letter, active voice. Here you can find that writes, it is in the simple present tense. A letter is written by Kanak. So a letter, it is singular, that's why we have to take is. If it has been plural, or it had been plural at the time, we had to use, or we have to use at the time, are. Might be Kanak writes the letters. Now in the passive voice what we have to write? The letters are, not is, because the letters plural. So here it is singular, so we have to use a letter is written by Kanak, passive voice. So here Kanak is the doer of the action in the sentence A, and A letter is the subject in sentence B, but it is not the doer of the action. Another thing we can find that writes, it is becoming written. That means it is getting changed into the past participle form of the verb. So Mohan eats an apple, active voice. An apple is eaten by Mohan. Here also you can find as an apple, it is singular. That's why we are using is, and eaten, the past participle form of eats. In the above examples, writes changes to is written, eats changes to is eaten in the passive voice. Similarly, a few examples of the verb write is in different tense forms is given here. Active voice and passive voice. Write, simple present, is written, simple present, am writing, present continuous, is being written, present continuous, wrote, simple past, was written in simple past, was writing, past continuous, it is becoming was being written in the past continuous tense. So give a tick up to this one. We have read up to this part today, and we will complete exercise number A, and the answers we will discuss either in one of our offline videos or any of our live classes, and then we will proceed with the next part of the chapter. But let me complete up to this part, then I will leave. Okay, personal pronouns. Personal pronouns also change in the passive voice. I eat an apple, active voice. An apple is eaten by me, passive voice. So you can see that I is getting changed into me. I has changed to me in the given example. Read the given table which shows how pronouns change from the active voice to passive voice. I becomes me, we, us, he, him, she, her, they, them. You and it remain unchanged in the passive form. Let us discuss the changes in tenses in detail. Give a tick up to this part, and we will read up to this part only. Okay. Now if you are having any queries or doubt, you can ask me. Just wait, children.